I think every dealer needs to have, just like you have different employees, you should have different AI tools. People are thirsty, man. People want friends. People want a connection. People, for whatever reason, have more cyber friends than real friends.
I asked those questions in the very beginning. Hey, who's in the household? Who's driving what? Because I want to know, maybe I can't sell you, but I sell the friend because I said, hey, what are you driving? And I'm qualifying everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman community. That's the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. That's the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. And we've got the hostess with the mostest, and her name is Tianna Mick, but you know her as T Got Your Keys. T Got Your Keys. How you doing, T?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me back on the show.
All right, so for the people that have been living under the rock, T Got Your Keys is a top-performing automotive sales professional, content creator, and someone who understands how to turn every single opportunity to consistent production. So what I respect about Tianna the most is this, is she doesn't just rely on luck or the magic up bus or just walk in. She builds a pipeline, she builds relationships, and she builds a brand within her dealership's brand when she was on the floor. And she knows how to maximize every single lead that comes her way. And today we're breaking down exactly how she does it. So Tianna, with that being said, welcome back to the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk about a lot of different things in this episode, but especially one thing in particular with what we always hear individuals say. I need more leads. I need more traffic. I need more ups. That's all I hear, Sean. And so I'm really excited. After this break, we're going to get into how to actually maximize your opportunities more and how to turn one lead into 10. So I'm really excited right after this break.
We'll be right back after we pay these bills.
If you're looking for the absolute best automotive sales training from the #1 millionaire car salesman in the world, Cody Carter, who sold 1,408 units in 2023 and made $1.2 million in personal income, make sure you sign up for Cody's 24/7 video on-demand training, tracking, and testing certification program, Sell Like Cody. That's right, Sell Like Cody is on Bradley On Demand. Cody covers absolutely everything in his successful selling process. If you want to learn how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably, enroll now at bradleyondemand.com or contact Dealer Synergy today.
Thank you for calling Doing It Wrong Motors. How can I help you?
I was looking at the tan 2023 GMC Terrain. You guys still have that?
Oh, sorry. That vehicle's been sold.
Could this be happening at your dealership? Get the Dealer Synergy team to handle calls the right way. We'll gather all the information, drop it in the CRM, set a solid appointment with notes, so all you have to do is sell. Do yourself a favor and go to dealersynergy.com for a free demo.
And no more of this burning through phone-ups nonsense.
Hey everybody, this is SVB, and the place to be is the Millionaire Car Salesman, and I'm with our guest of honor today, T Got Your Keys, Tianna Mick. So T, okay, so I want to talk about this as the mindset shift from lead opportunity, okay? And so again, let's start here. Most salespeople look at a lead as one deal. You look at it differently. So tell me what you mean that you look at it differently. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think what the average salesperson does, especially when it comes to internet leads, is they just one see it as a lead, right? Especially here at Dealer Synergy, Bradley on Demand, we don't call them leads, right? We call them buyers because that's exactly what they are. And they just really view them as one opportunity. And that's kind of the key focus on today's whole episode is, how to look at that differently. And basically how I do it, right, Sean, is I know that we're in a relationship business, right? The people business. And a lot of the times, we get so focused on the vehicle, month to month to month business that we're not focused on that long term relationship building with the actual client. So, with that being said, the main thing that I do differently is I actually build a relationship with my clients. It sounds crazy, but listen, that's like the basics of car sales. And I can't tell you how many times I sit down with individuals and I say, "Hey, when was the last time you spoke to the people that you sold a car to?" And they're like, "When?" Like, let's say last month. Let's say, last month, when was the last time you reached out to them even just to thank them? Oh, well, unless the CRM tells me, I'm not really reaching out. Sean, is that not like what you kind of hear
Yeah,
as
I
well
hear
when
it
it comes
all
to
the
follow up with
time.
sold?
Out of sight, out of mind. I think it happens too often. Now, the first thing that you said, though, I want to just make sure that everybody heard is that, perception is reality. If you think of these people like a lead, then you're never going to treat them like a person or a relationship. You can't turn around and think of, and I don't mean to be inappropriate, but you can't think of a one night stand as the same as your spouse, your husband, or your wife. It just doesn't make sense. You can't give the same respect to both scenarios because they're not equal. And so I think first and foremost, Tiana, that was very powerful. What you said is seeing these people, they're not leads, they're not just opportunities, they're people, they're relationships. And these people are buying or want to buy or possibly might want to buy the second or the first largest item they ever will in their lifetime. So I think that's great. So T, my next question though is, how should a salesperson mentally approach every opportunity?
That is a good one. I think, on top of that long-term follow-up, right? It's how can I actually be the car concierge or their go-to car person? So not just for sales, right? Like I'm talking if they need their tire changed, which yes, I know how to change a tire, and I have done it for many of my family members and as well as my customers, right? Financing, right? I had somebody actually, I don't sell cars anymore, right? But they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, you know what? To be quite honest, I have bad credit. Is it better for me to look at a new car or is it better for me to look at a used car?" And I had to kind of school them on why the banks would rather put someone in a challenge credit situation in a newer vehicle, right? Less risk and things like that. But there's also different kind of opportunities there. So with that being said, be that car person for that customer in whatever that means. If it means they're an educational person and they need to know how to buy a car, credit, money down, things like that, then that's the person you are. If they need a person that's just going to show them how to connect their Bluetooth and be the tech person, guess what? That's the person that you need to be. But for a long term relationship, you need to meet your customer to work, right? You need to meet your customer where they're at. So for salespeople, approach every opportunity like, where is the situation or problem, right? I should say, I'm trying to solve with this person, and how can I be the best person for that?
I love that. So if I'm hearing you correctly, I think and I'm going to rephrase from my perspective, interpretation is that okay? So before there's lead engagement, the first role, because the question was, how should a salesperson mentally approach every opportunity? I'd say that if I'm understanding you clearly, it's different. It could be different on so many different levels. It might be at first that your role you need to prepare yourself is just engagement, that you have an opportunity business, a prospect, and you got to condition yourself, say, this is not a liar, this is not somebody that's wasting time. You need to convince yourself that all you need to do is make contact. So you are the follow-up expert. You are going to do emails, phone calls, text messages, communications, or whatever it takes. Then if I'm hearing you, if you engage with them, different people have different wants, wishes, needs, expectations. Certain people might need more product knowledge, product clarification, trim levels, comparisons, things like that. So people might need more help and support when it relates to the trade-in. Some people might need more information or support or resources for credit or financing or special financing needs. Some might be in it for that need more help on the service side. Some people might just need payments or down payments or a cosigner. You're saying that what you've got to do is be everything to everybody, but know which role is needed. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely, Sean. That's why when I'm in the dealership and sometimes I hear or I heard, right, my coworkers over share something like, "Oh, I don't know why he's teaching us this. I'm not the finance manager. I don't know why they're showing us the retail ready process. I'm not the detail person." It's because exactly what you said, Sean, right? You need to be the expert in whatever your customer needs. So if you're not aware of the different financing options or the incentives, if you're not aware of how fast your service department is or maybe how slow it is, right? You're not going to be able to actually cater to your customer. So absolutely, you need to be a master at every single department in the dealership.
I love that. Now, the workshop was, or the episode, I should say, was really specific, and it was, I don't want to say inflammatory, but it was provocative. It's how to turn one internet lead into 10 opportunities. So let's get to the elephant in the room. How is it possible that, and what does it mean to turn one lead into multiple opportunities? Never mind that bold statement in the title of our show, how to turn one internet lead into 10 opportunities. How do you do that?
So, just to reiterate, creating that relationship right with the customer and meeting them where they're at, that's going to be the bottom line, easiest way. So, the one opportunity, right? So, if somebody comes in and they send in a lead on a brand new, I used to sell Buick GMC, right? So, brand new GMC Canyon, Denali. Right. So instead of just saying, oh, this is a lead, they just want this one vehicle, I'm just going to sell it to them. And as you said, Sean, right, not really build that relationship with them. That's not going to really turn that into multiple opportunities, right? Multiple opportunities could look something like, hey, who else is going to be, driving this vehicle with you? And asking those qualifying questions of who else is in the household with you, and it might be no one, right? And the questions could sound like, hey, just so I can make sure we get you the absolute best deal for this GMC Canyon for you, we do have some kind of incentives when it comes to competitor leases or even lease or loyalty programs. So with that being said, who in the household is currently driving vehicles? Right, and now they're listing, "Oh, well, my wife drives this, my son drives this." They're literally listing every single now new opportunity for you to, "Oh, now I know the son's going to be 18 and I can reach out and follow up with them." Or, "Oh, now I know the wife's driving a Mercedes and I could maybe try to sell her a Cadillac," right? Like, all these different things are to create more than one opportunity, but the average salesperson would just say, you know what? I'm going to sell Sean this GMC Canyon. And hopefully at the end of that, that's when I can then start learning the referrals. Then I'm going to start learning his network. No, right? I'm going to start off right off the bat saying, hey, who is in the household with you, right? Because let's say Sean doesn't buy the car from me, right? Crazy thing. Let's say he doesn't. Now I have follow up ammunition to then, right? Follow up with Sean with. So if I never ask Sean, hey, who's in the household, or all these different qualifying things for creating one opportunity right into many, which we usually only ask that at the end, it doesn't give me any ammunition to follow up with. So, very simply, is instead of saying, hey, who else in the household, right? Do you know who's in the market for a vehicle at the end after they said yes? I ask those questions in the very beginning. Hey, who's in the household? Who's driving what? Because I want to know, maybe I can't sell you, but it's happened to me where I've sold, a friend that comes with another friend saying, I want to test drive a car. And I don't sell them, but I sell the friend because I said, hey, what are you driving? And I'm qualifying everybody.
So
So that would probably be the number one thing.
okay, so I'm going to frame this for all of our audience that are listening. So let's, and it's helpful, Tiana, when we put like a scenario to it. So let's just say that we've got a person named Kalina, right? So we've got Kalina Bradley. So Kalina Bradley is looking at a 2026 Toyota RAV4 compact SUV. Kalina is currently driving a 2019 Toyota, let's just say Honda Civic, competing brand. So if I have that, the internet purchase request just came over from the website. If I reach out to her, and if what you're saying is part of my needs assessment, part of my qualification to identify her wants, wishes, expectations, might ask, okay, who's going to be the driver of this vehicle? Is there going to be anybody else added to the title? So if she says, if Kalina says, you know what, I'm going to be the primary driver, okay, great. Well, Kalina, who else are you going to add to the title? Oh, I'm going to add my boyfriend, Tony. Okay, great. Oh, not a problem. Is Tony have his own car? Yes. Well, what kind of car is he driving? Why do you want to know that? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I want to make sure that if there's any rebates or incentives, that your household qualifies for, Kalina, what you might not understand is this, is that Toyota might have what's called owner rewards money. So if you or Tony is driving a Toyota product, not just you in that household, your household will qualify for that rebate. Now, again, and they change the incentives month to month, but there might be what's called conquest money, meaning that Toyota might have $500 or more available to try to incentivize you, bribe you to defect from your brand from here. We already know that Kalina is currently driving a Honda Civic. So again, I love that. But now a little further down, it could be not just the person that's on the title. So if I said to Kalina, is there anybody else at the title? Yes, Tony. Well, is there any other people in your household that's driving? Yes, my sister Mia. Okay, how old is she? She's 18 years old. Okay, great. What is she driving? Year, make, model. Okay, boom. Now, what Tianna is saying, folks, the lesson right here is this. We are doing it in part so we could find if there's any rebates, incentives, dealer cash, customer cash, hidden money, partner money, incentive money, or anything whatsoever. But what we're really doing is our stealth idea of stealth qualifying. Now, we just took that situation and we just added 2 users into the CRM profile for the dealership. We've added Tony as the boyfriend and Mia as the younger sister, their ages, their vehicles, and what they're driving. So they're potentially follow up. Now, let's just say, I know that Kalina's got perfect credit, but let's just use this as a scenario. Let's just say that, Kalina's got iffy credit or, God forbid, less than perfect credit. So we could turn around and say, look, do you have a potential actually references? Okay, that's the thing right there. If somebody is looking to get the most advantageous rate, this is coming from me being a former special finance manager. Again, a lot of these subprime banks actually like having references. So I would say, hey, Kalina, we're going to need 3 or 4 references from people that could vouch for you and your character and your integrity, whether they're friends, family, or former coworkers, or whatever they might be. These references can technically be utilized in marketing and for future follow-up to convert. Now, I want to add something too. I want to digress for a second and go back to, the household survey that we're doing. Why is this important? Tianna, NADA says that when somebody buys a car in the household, whether they buy it from us or they buy it from our direct competitor, it doesn't matter. Somebody buys a car, someone else in their household on average buys another vehicle within 90 days. Now, so we talked about references, right? We talked about references. So that's the second idea that we could turn leads into. Now, the third idea I think is going to get even kind of cool here is just asking for, referrals and then incentivizing. I'll give you an example. I've got multiple dealerships like this. I've got a Highline store right now, which is Jim Hudson Acura in Augusta, Georgia. Shout out to the amazing Jim Hudson Acura Auto Group. But Tianna, they have a program where they give out gift cards. So if the first referral, so I'm going to pitch Kalina right here. Okay, so like if I'm talking about, hey, Kalina, I want to let you know right now, we appreciate earning your business. And just to let you know, if you actually refer somebody to us, we will be able to compensate you. As a matter of fact, I might be able to pay for your entire car for you. I know that's provocative. Let me explain, Kalina, how this works is this. The first referral that you give us that closes within a month, let's just say from April 1st to the end of April, is going to be a $300 gift card. The second one that you give us will be for $700. Okay. So again, I'm sorry, not $700. We'll do, it could be $500, right? So the second referral that closes within the same calendar month, that's $500. The third referral that you give us that closes within the same calendar month will be $1,000. So it's 1,000 plus 500 plus 300, which is a total of $1,800. Jim Hudson Acura does this. We've got other dealers that do this because now what we're doing is we are incentivizing, aka bribing your happy customers, whether they're special finance or they're prime, whether they're new car, whether they're used car, whether they're finance, whether they're lease, it doesn't matter. Everybody, without exception, fail. We're going to try to recruit them as referral agents. We want to give them reasons to start pumping you with referrals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Why would they do that? Because I just told you, Can you and we're going to cap it at those three. The most they could get is $1,800 in a month. But can you imagine if even if they only give you two referrals a month, that's $800 a month. That is more than the national average on the average car payment out there by far. So it's huge. And then here's another one. Look, Tianna, I don't want to take your whole thunder for you because I want you to freestyle on this, but I got one more for you. Is the trade-ins. Well, what do you mean? Depending, we talked about in this scenario that Kalina's got the 2019 Honda Civic base, but it only has about 45,000 miles on it. So now with that lead, I could turn around and reconcile that with my entire database, all the other prospects and people that I was trying to work a deal with, but I didn't have the right car. So if I'm doing my math correctly, we've got two or three right there off of just the in-house, survey of the drivers that are in the house. And then we've also got with references another two or three. So we are 4 to 6 right there. And then if we turn around and add in referrals, and that's just like 3 the first month, right there. So we're now at 7 to 10 right there. And then when we take in the the trade in and reverse engineer that, oh my gosh, we might be able to be more than 10. So Tianna, is this what you're saying? Is this what I'm tracking? Are you saying this correctly?
Yeah, and honestly, you can tell what's important to a dealer or even a salesperson specifically, right, by what's in their process. So, for instance, if you're not, like you said, making this a part of your qualification as soon as you are doing your meet and greet and your product selection, right, you're probably going to forget. And guess what? You're probably not going to do it. So, making sure that you introduce these different tactics into your sales process, right, into your road to the sale is gonna be the most important part, I think, too.
100%. So I want to transition here. So the follow up that actually converts, because I like again follow up that doesn't convert is a waste of time. So let's talk follow up because most people think that they're doing it the right way, but we know they're really not. So can you give me an idea of what does strong follow up actually look like, T?
I mean, honestly, it's gonna be daily and obviously weekly, but especially that daily, reaching out to your prospect to stay at top of the mind, and it's not, "Let me know if you have any questions," or, "Are you still in the market?" Right? Like that generic reaching out. It's because, 1, we probably didn't qualify the customer properly in the beginning, right? So we don't know what their actual wants, wishes, expectations are. So for that reason, we have to have generic follow-up. So strong follow-up looks like tailoring it, right? Like saying, "Hey, Sean, thanks so much for coming in. I know that your wife Karen was busy, so I'm so glad that we were able to take videos for you to show her." Like dropping all of these little things to, 1, stay top of mind, right? But tailor the experience to be different because every other dealership is just going to say, "Are you still in the market for the vehicle? Here's my cell phone number in case you have questions. I can take more pictures for you," right? But strong follow up is maybe sending a video of the car, then reaching out again and saying, "Hey, did you get to show Karen?" Right? Or, "Hey, did your son get a look at it?" Right? All these different things. Maybe I know that because he does, that Sean has 3 beautiful little pugs, and we do a dog day event. I know Subaru is especially big on like pet days and dog days and things like that. So I'm going to make sure if I know my customer has some kind of animal, right? I'm going to put hashtag pets, hashtag dog in the CRM, right? In Vin Solutions, you can do the little hashtags, things like that. And now I can look up every customer and stay top of the mind by sending them our dog day events, right? Or maybe our child daycare events. All these things are strong follow-ups. It's not just that generic, "Are you still in the market for a vehicle?" that we always hear time and time and again.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's intelligently following up and it's utilizing technology that we have. So let's be specific. There are some CRMs out there like Drive Centric that has advanced AI because they've been doing it the longest with the AI integration. But I know Event Solutions has, true artificial intelligence integration now. And but even if you don't have a CRM that's fluent in AI, you don't need to be. You need, I think every dealer needs to have, just like you have different employees, you should have different AI tools, whether it's Google Gemini whether it's Claude, whether it's obviously Chat GPT and Grok. Those are the four main ones. Not even, with Canva and Nano Banana on the graphic side. So if you have these different resources, Tiana, then you could basically tell the AI to, interpret all of the email communication, all of the text message communication, all of the social media communication. And I was just right before this podcast, I was working with Cody Carter, the gentleman that broke the Guinness Book of World Records for selling cars. Last year, sold 1,799 cars, and he is using Claude to analyze all of his communications. So Claude is going through all of his emails, all of his text messages, all of his social media DMs. It's scraping all of the communications, and then it's understanding context. It's learning from patterns and what's saying, and then it's able to respond with context and strategy the best way that's going to yield you the highest probability of engagement and conversion. So using intelligent responses, using AI, artificial intelligence to strategically stack the deck for you. And then I love what you just said. There's so many different opportunities, whether, for General Motors, it's making strides for breast cancer, or it's the Susan B. Komen breast cancer, or it's pediatric cancer in St. Jude's, or it's Ford with autism, or, every person has something that's dear to them from their passion, their family. It is your job as a sales professional, as a BDC rep, to understand your people, to qualify them, to understand their wants,
Mhm.
wishes, expectations, and not just in the vehicle, but in their life, in their community,
Mhm.
in their tribe, in their essence. And the more that we could respect them, and guys, using AI to remember to, Devil Wears Prada, Tiana's coming out, and I don't know. I've heard somebody compare me to the crazy chick that's the boss, and I don't support that, but I could see what they mean sometimes. But yeah, I mean, like, again, the super assistant will whisper in her ear, and that's Maggie, that's Bob's wife, and she does this. You want to use AI as a super assistant. If we could just dream, I mean, can you imagine if every day you remembered every single important and even semi-important, even not important thing in every one of your prospects and clients' lives? Like your direct prospect or clients, like them, forget about their families first, just them, their birthday, their anniversary, their spouse, their children, their pets' names, just knowing all that stuff, knowing what their hobbies and interests are. Now, can you imagine if you use technology to exponentially, go into knowing now their spouse's name? So if it was you, then it's not just
Right.
knowing everything about Tianna Chanel Mick, not just that your favorite color is purple, that you rep the rainbow flag, and that you like this and that, but then it's knowing who your wife is and her hobbies, and what her passions are with jujitsu and this, that, and Legos and Harry Potter, and then knowing your cat and your cat's name and the cat stuff, and then the sports. And you get what I'm getting at, is that you
Yes.
can use technology and AI and automation to be able to do all that stuff. Do you agree? And if so, how would you like to build on what I just said?
Yeah, I completely agree. Because exactly what Cody Carter's doing, right? He's telling his AI, read all of this and basically give me the stuff that I care about, right? The value points. And a lot of times in our follow-up, we're not giving the customers what they want, their value points, right? They have to be a Cody Carter and use AI to shift through our emails because we're being so vague. We're not providing value. We're being generic. So exactly, Sean, making sure that we tailor to the customer, actually provide value to them. That's what strong follow-up looks like. And like you mentioned, right? Whether it be different charities. I know like Hyundai, they were doing some kind of like Hope on Wheels, or, and I got an email and it was like they reached like 300 million or some crazy number like that. Definitely have to fact check me on that one. But I was like, wow, like I now maybe would be looking at purchasing from that OEM, right? Because that's absolutely amazing. I want my money to go towards something that's a big project. So all these little things, that's what strong follow up looks like.
Now, one of the questions I was going to ask is, what do you say persistent? How do you stay persistent without being annoying? And I want to kind of lead you.
Mm,
I don't want to answer my own question, but I do want to lead you. I think that if you are providing value and or relevancy, then you won't be annoying. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's what really pisses people off is if we ignore questions, if we ignore, details, or if we ignore their responses, if we're selective incorrectly in what we want to respond with. So I like that. Do you agree? And if so, validate. But if
Yes.
you have a modification, I think that it has to be with, you know, relevancy, and
Mm-hmm.
respect. So
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I was training a client earlier this week, and um I asked them, just because I was leading into there are, 8, right, reasons why your customers are going online, and going to purchase a vehicle, and all of those 8 things are value points, right, to customers. And if we meet those value points, guess what? We're probably going to sell the car. I asked a salesperson earlier this week, I said, "Hey, why do you think your customers are calling in? Like, what do you think their wishes and needs are?" And he straight up said, "Oh, I don't care what their wishes and needs are. I'm just gonna sell them this car, and I'm gonna show them that's what they need." I was like, okay, that's definitely one way to sell a car, and why we still have a job for training, right? Because it definitely needs to be tweaked there. Absolutely not, right? Like, my manager, when I, worked at the dealership, he'd used to say something like, selling a car sometimes is like being a waiter and your customer's like, "Hey, let me have the meatloaf." And we're like, "No, you're gonna want the pasta. I'm gonna show you why you're gonna want the pasta." And they're like, "Well, but I just wanted this meatloaf, right? Like, can you just get?" "No, we have a really good deal on this pasta, and I'm just gonna show you why." And it's like, exactly, right? Like, imagine if we did that at a restaurant, you'd get up and you'd walk away, but we're doing that to these customers, right? "Well, let me show you that this one has really good incentives on it. So I think you need to be looking at XYZ," right? Instead of, like you said, Sean, answering their questions, meeting them where they're at. And then obviously, we can lead them to where we wanna go, but if we can't even meet them where they're at, we cannot lead them to where we wanna go. So, with that being said, without being annoying and persistent, you stole my answer. It's providing value. Providing value. So whether that be the information person, the trade-in appraisal person, the lot person, just moving 5 different cars around because they wanna see what, each one looks like that's the person that you wanna be. And follow-up, right, can look like providing value. So it's not going to be annoying to a customer if you're actually giving them value in the information you're telling them, like the charity events, the different, kind of incentives that are going on, those servicing needs, right?
how
All of
does
these different things are value points.
You are really famous, Tiana, for your videos. You've got millions and millions of views on TikTok and things like that. So, I think video is one of your secret weapons. That's what you're known for. So, can you break it down? Why is video so powerful automotive sales? And when should salespeople be sending, video messages?
Yes. So, as you know, right, they're so valuable and powerful because you get sight, sound, motion, and emotion, right? You get the whole science of communication in there. And listen, it's the second best thing than being in front of your customer at the dealership, right? Like, we always want to say, as much as possible when you're following up, right? Like, you need to escalate that written communication to a phone call, that phone call then to a visit into the dealership. But guess what? If they can't come into the dealership, then I'm sending them videos. I'm sending the dealership to them. Okay. That's why videos are so powerful. And salespeople should be sending video messages as much as possible. I'm saying, like, lead follow up, information videos, after sale videos, right? Like, I would
Appointment
literally have
confirmation.
a appointment confirmations, right? A lot of the times when we think of videos, it's how can I get this person to purchase with me? So it's intro videos, maybe dealership tour videos, which I absolutely love. But we also need to have like after sale videos, right? Like a video explaining a referral program, because maybe my customer isn't that knowledgeable in our referral program as I am, which as I don't expect them to be, right? So if they're shy, if they're nervous, if they don't know what to say, I have a video that explains, "Hey, this is Tiana, also known as T Got Your Keys, and your friend purchased a vehicle with me. Let me explain to you our amazing referral program that you can get into," right? And I'm explaining it. So after sale videos and things like that, especially customer testimonials. So a strong video should also What do you think? What do you think? Value, right? And a reason for the customer to keep watching. So TikTok actually built this like perfect algorithm. You need to capture 70% of your audience within the first 3 seconds. Like first 3 seconds. So you need to be attention grabbing, like not generic, not like every other dealer. You need to be different. So you need to make sure you don't sound scripted, right? Natural, you're saying the customer's name, like we've been saying this whole episode, right? Value, value, value. So making sure you, as I said, say their name over and over again is one of the key factors because it's everyone's favorite word is their name. So just a little tidbit: if you're making videos, don't be generic. Keep name dropping, and that's pretty much how you get really good videos when it comes to car sales.
I appreciate that insight. The other thing I'm going to say is that people prefer watching video more than reading, writing, talking, texting, anything.
Mm,
So if you just Google it, humans consume hours and hours and hours of video content every single day between video conferencing, video streaming, video communications. It's just part of it. And like Tiana said earlier, you get sight, sound, motion, and emotion. You get the full science of communication. Furthermore, statistically speaking, video emails increase read open rates by 300%. Okay, so now what
wow.
about social media? Let's talk about something people don't say out loud: social media as it relates to follow up. Can you tell me what we're doing?
Yes. So, I think salespeople can ethically use social media to learn about customers. I know for Dealer Synergy and Bradley on Demand, especially our processes, we teach every single one of our reps, right, to, yeah, reach out to them to your prospects or to your leads on social media. So, with that being said, listen, you can look on someone's social media and actually learn a lot about them in like 5 minutes, not even, right? So as soon as you get a new lead in, this is what I want you to do now. What I want you to do is, especially if they have that email address, you can actually copy that email address, drop it into Google, right? And it's going to show you everything associating with that. So you're going to get, if they use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, right? All these different things, TikTok, it's going to associate with that email, you're gonna find them. So let's say I was looking up Sean, right? Which Sean is very easily to find on social media. As we know, he's a millionaire car salesman. And basically, if I were to get Sean's lead in and I had his email, I dropped it in, I go to his Facebook, and the first thing I'm going to see is him and his wife and his kids. So now I'm going to go over to my CRM and I'm going to type in family man, right? Like I'm going to type in all of these different things that I'm seeing. Because guess what? There's some people that maybe aren't that family oriented. So maybe I'm not going to be sending them the, hey, bring your kids over because, hey, I don't see any kids in their pictures. I'm not going to bring up a topic. I see Sean has 4 beautiful children, 3 pugs, a wife, right? I'm notating all of that. So this is how you can ethically, right, use social media to gather information about your customers. And what you should be looking for, right, is relationship building information. So things to connect with, things to have in common with. If they, let's say, like the Eagles, right? And I know Sean's wife likes the Eagles. Maybe on Sunday, if there's a game on, I'm going to send him a text that says, hey, hope your wife's having a good time watching the Eagles, right? Customers will be like, "Whoa, that's kinda crazy. Did I mention that? Like, that's okay." Like, they're gonna think to themselves, "That's different." And listen, not trying to be creepy, right? We're just trying to make friends, make relationships, and connect, right? So when we are using social media, you can do some stalking and it can be done right. So how do you kind of use that information in a way without sounding creepy? Because it sounded kind of creepy when I mentioned it, right? Very bottom line, number one is just being upfront and just being transparent and saying, hey, I'm a real professional in this industry. I'm not just a car salesperson. I hope you understand, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, like this is my career, right? The second largest purchase you will ever make in your lifetime is going to be this vehicle, might be even the most expensive. I want to be seen more than your car salesman, right? I'm not just a car salesperson. I'm your go-to person, okay, for all of your automotive needs. Better yet, I am your friend, right? And I know that sounds cheesy, and you can say this to the customer, right? And I know that sounds cheesy, but listen, this is my real career, and that's what I'm taking it as such. So that's why I added you on Facebook, and I hope we can definitely connect. And if you are transparent upfront with the customer, guess what? They're gonna respect that. And guess what? If you have someone that's like, no, I don't care, you're creepy, then guess what? You probably didn't want them on your friends list anyways. So just remove them and leave them. Sean?
Yeah, I want to also flow on this just for a second. I know that we're just packing so much information in here, but we're gonna wait till we come back and pay some more bills, and when we get back, we're gonna go into this. So we'll be right back.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
Hey, this is Sean V. Bradley and Tianna Mick, also known as T Got Your Keys, and you are on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and we are talking about, internet leads. How can you turn, again, one internet lead into 10? But I think, again, how to turn one internet lead into 10 opportunities. And we're talking about social media. So Tianna, let's look at this in a different perspective. One of the most difficult aspects of sales, especially internet sales, is the connection ratio. I've been doing this for almost 28 straight years. I've been doing automotive internet sales longer, daughter, than you've been alive. All right. And so that's how long I've been doing this. And what I will say is that in my 28 years of doing this, the single biggest reality is that the hardest part is just getting them on the phone. It's not price. It's not availability. It's not convenience. It's not reputation. It's not that they're crazy. It's none of that stuff that you think about. It's just getting them on the phone. Why? There's only a 2 to 4% read open ratio. There's only a 7 to 8% connection ratio. So I'm going to, share with you what Tianna just said about social media. One of the things that I like is I could just use, if I'm in VIN off my customer dashboard, I could have quick access to Facebook, LinkedIn, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Pinterest. But that does not have Instagram, WhatsApp, and TikTok on there, and Snapchat. So it's missing half of the social platforms. So whether you use it within the native CRM, but almost all of them you can't, you could just go to these social medias directly and engage them, or you could use something like Spokeo.com, www.spokeo.com. This is what bail bondsmen use and private investigators. If you do use this, I definitely would make sure that you create a computer use policy or software use policy in the dealership, so we're not being weird or creepsters like Tianna was talking about. But what you want to be able to do is think about it. 2 things that you can do. Okay, strategy 1 is that you could just gather field intelligence from it. So you could go to somebody, let's just say it was Kalina Bradley. Oh, she's going to hate this because she's a very private person, but I'm going to get her. I'm only kidding. So if Kalina was my prospect, I would go to her different social media. I would be going to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, or whatever I could, because you got to also realize that different platforms are different. The stuff that's posted in LinkedIn is completely different that's going to be posted on TikTok, that's going to be posted on Instagram. So you could use these for different things. You know what LinkedIn is great for? People that want to be found. It is not Match.com, and it isn't Instagram, it isn't TikTok, it's LinkedIn. So this is where they put multiple forms of communication: email address, website links, work numbers, cell phone numbers, multiple, because people want to connect with people for business and networking. So you should be able to use that for contact. That's one of the first places I would go, is someone is LinkedIn, to try to get secondary and third different emails and text messages and, numbers and things like that. But I would then also look for other, not just contact information and secondary, third contact information, field intelligence, wants, wishes, expectations. What do you mean? Okay, you could tell if somebody, has a landscape business, they might need something for work. Or if somebody's a soccer mom, they might need a vehicle, to transport all the kids in. Or if somebody, and so on and so forth. You could learn a little bit of the field intelligence about that prospect. You could learn something about their personality. You might be able to learn about birthdays, anniversaries, graduations. If people lost somebody that passed away, if somebody was sick, or just somebody had a bad day. So this is where you've got to be careful not to be a weirdo. But let's just say if it was Kalina, if we've never engaged in conversation, she was just a lead at this point. Nobody's just a lead, but if she's a prospect, unsold prospect, then what I could do is what? If it says that, she was sick, I could just send her an e-card. Think about that. Not a lead response, not a template, not a text message, not saying, I hope you feel better. I know what'll make you feel better. How about buying this new car? No, just simply an e-card, being human, depositing into her emotional bank account. Let's just say, she mentions that her and her, boyfriend are going to Hawaii. Hey, congratulations, Kalina. Hey, I was at Hawaii too. I also was at the Big Island. And hey, if you go there, check out this luau. Do you see what I'm saying? So you could use social media, Tianna, to be able to gather field intelligence, to be able to gather little nuggets that could help you either
Yep.
structure that profile. And the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to turn it over to you for you to clean this up and close this out, is this. Okay. It's not just using it as an oracle. It's not using it like a white page of reverse listing on steroids. It's not even using it to be like the devil wears Prada, that assistant, so it knows everything omnipresent side. Here's the other reason. You ready for this? I highly recommend that you friend request every one of your prospects on their platforms. And I'm not saying you should do it all at once so you look like a real freaking creepster and a weirdo, but maybe you follow on Instagram and maybe on Facebook today. Maybe tomorrow or a couple days later, you follow on TikTok or you do somewhere else. And then by time you give up on this person, if you ever give up on this person, you should be connected with them, or at least attempt to connect with them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, whatever else I missed, right? Why? Because follow me, and I'm going to close on this, I promise. Every time you post something on your social media or across your social media, these people, if they're connected with you, might also see that. So think about it. So not only are your CRM sending them automated emails, automated text messages, right? So that's one layer: automated emails, automated text messages. Your AI, if you've got artificial intelligence like Podium, for example, which is one of the most powerful conversational AIs on the planet. So like now Podium, or a tool like Podium, is sending out, conversational AI, responses and all this other stuff. Now, on top of all of that, you are able to DM them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you're messaging them on social media. But now, on top of all that, because they've accepted your friend request, why? Because people are thirsty, man. People want friends. People want a connection. People, for whatever reason, have more cyber friends than real friends in general. It's easier, it's faster, and it makes you feel good or whatever. So now if they are looking at all of your posts, then what might happen is this: oh, that's Tianna, the one that's selling all these cars. Oh, that's Tianna. That's the one that's giving out all those referral checks. Oh, that's Tianna with all the happy customers. Man, I think maybe when she calls again, I'll answer this time. Or, oh, that was Tianna. Let me give Tianna a call back. Because now you're not somebody random. You are communicating in all areas: their voicemail, their text message, all over social media, through videos, through this and through that. So it might not be a silver bullet, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it might not be a text, a call, a social media DM. it might be linking them all together. So if I leave a DM, I might reference, hey, I just want to just say, I hope you feel better. I saw on Instagram that you weren't feeling well. Boom. So I'm connecting stuff. I'm showing them that I'm not just treating them like McDonald's. I'm not just treating them like a number. I like them. I respect them. I'm trying to help them. Tianna, what do you say to all of that and bring it home?
Absolutely. And that is how you definitely turn one opportunity into many, right? Because like you said, I love that if you're following up with them on Facebook, Instagram, you're liking their stuff, you're commenting, guess what? People are nosy. They're gonna comment. I mean, look at their comments and say, oh, who's commenting on Sean's Instagram post. Oh, who's and then oh, a car salesperson. Oh, that's different. That's interesting, right? Because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of car salespeople, we don't care, right? You know, that's a stereotype that obviously we're breaking with these strategies and tactics. So, yes, Sean, I absolutely love that. That is another way to turn one lead, right? One opportunity into 10 or many, many, many. So, with that being said, if you're getting one deal from every lead, man, you're leaving money on the table. Okay. Like this isn't about working harder. Okay. We're not trying to say that. We're actually trying to make you work smarter. Okay.
So can you
Actually
give them
more
can you give
effective.
them something? Can you give them a free strategy session? Like if somebody needs help, whether they're a salesperson, they are a sales manager, they're BDC rep or internet director, or what have you, would you be willing to give them a free strategy session, or maybe even offer to do a free sales meeting? You could do it through Zoom. You could turn around and do something like that. A, are you willing to do
Absolutely.
that? And B, how could they get a hold of you?
Yes, 100,000,000%. I have a quote. My own personal mission statement is like always be the person you wish you had. So I wish that I had a, person that I could reach out to, which I did have, right? I had a lot of people when I was in this industry. But I also want to be that and continue to be that for other people, right? So yes, if you want a free strategy session, if you just want to connect and let me know, hey, here's the videos that I'm doing, I'm going to give you my honest feedback and listen, we're going to make you more successful. That's bottom line what I do. Okay. So, with that being said, please reach out to me, whether it be email, my first name, Tianna, Tianna, at dealersynergy.com. Better know how to spell that. Or listen, text me. My real cell phone number, 610-607-3231. That's right. That's my real cell phone number. Feel free. Give me a text. But listen, Sean, I'm not the only one they can connect with, right? Be sure to join the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. We are the #1 automotive community with over 30,000 members. Oh my gosh. And you're already listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. So listen, remember, in this business, the difference between average and elite isn't the leads, it's how you effectively work those leads. Until next time, millionaires, see ya.
We outie.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're gonna love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably, so sign up now.